So, if you were a police officer, what would be the worst thing for you personally to witness or to have to investigate? Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy schmancy stuff going on here. Please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps every single Friday. Alright, I do admit that some of season 6 was garbled, but seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were fine, so please go check all those out. And the last few Star Trek videos have been good. They haven't been garbled, so things have improved the last couple weeks. Also, please check out Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books in this magazine. Every single Monday, we started with 2007. We are working our way up to 2016 every single Monday. Might halt flashback for a little bit in December when all the decorations go up and it's hard to get to my books because I use them in my books. But we'll work on it. But anyways, and I have daily book reviews. And this is book 17 of the Sebastian St. Cyr series. And we are out of town. But we are also out of town with family. So the last one, we went out of town with just Simon, Sebastian, Tom, Hero, and Calhoun. Now it's the extended family. And it's hard to let me see if I can back up here. Sebastian likes to solve murder mysteries. Oh, I got an itch. Sorry. Sorry. Itch. All right. So, Sebastian likes to solve murder mysteries. He's been doing it. This is book 17. And I like the character progression. And I will warn you, lots and lots of spoilers. Spoiler alert. Not the whodunit, but I will do character spoils. So, alright, so have to understand there's not so much of it in this book, but it's the basis for the whole story. So, Sebastian is the heir to the Earl of Hendon, and Hendon is a very, very powerful man. And Jarvis is Hero's father, who is also a very powerful man. He's second cousin or first cousin to the king. So what happened was Sebastian's mother left town on her own accord. Sebastian was told he was dead. Okay? Until recently, everybody knew his mother was alive but him. Can you imagine? Your mother leaves, your whole family says she's dead, and she's not only isn't she dead, but she's corresponding with your father and your sister. Often. She's corresponding with them often, and both of them know your mother's alive, and neither one of them tell you. So Sebastian is looking for his mother because he's discovered that not only did she live, but everybody knows where she is but him, and he's having people investigate, but the people he have investigate get killed because people don't want him to know where she is. And Hendon could have told him, Jarvis could have told him, Amanda could have told him, and Amanda's his sister. But she's also a stuck-up bitch. So anyways, where was I? So, alright, so it turns out that Sebastian also discovered in this course that Hendon is not his biological father, but Hendon has declared Sebastian his son legally, and there's no discussing that. So Sebastian has slowly come to terms with that. Him and Hendon have slowly come back to talking to each other. And And Amanda still hates Sebastian because if she was a man, she would be the heir and she would be doing things properly. But she's a female. And her marriage went 6 ways to Sunday too, but that's a whole nother story. And her daughter's marriage went 6 ways to Sunday too. But now she's married to a architect, I think. I think that's what he is. He does construction and stuff like that. And so Sebastian has finally, he's also had, and he doesn't anymore, but he had, and that's a whole nother chunk of the puzzle, is that this guy showed up in London who was Sebastian's twin. And I think he had a different mother, or maybe, his father might have been a brother to Sebastian's biological father, but we do not know that yet. We do not know any of that yet. It's all out in the stratosphere. We don't know. So Knox had looked like him, and he had a child with this lady Pippa, I believe. And at the end of the last book, Pippa leaves town with her new fiance, and her new fiance doesn't want the kid. So the kid is Patrick. So she gives Patrick to Sebastian, who looks enough like Sebastian, because he looks like his father Knox, that people just assume that the kid is his. So he looks like Sebastian and Simon. They could, they look like brothers. But only the key core family members know this. So Sebastian has gotten word where his mother is. So he goes off to Paris to talk and see to his mother. So he's been in Paris a few days, and he discovers his mother's location. He's going to try and talk to her. Unknowns to Sebastian, she knows he's already there. And she makes some contingency plans, and she's planning to get the guts up to go talk to him, and she gets murdered. And nobody knows that this woman is his mother. She's going by the name Sophie. And so Sebastian discovers her body a few minutes after she was murdered, and he decides that he is going to investigate. The Paris police want no part of it. They're not going to investigate it or anything. They have, the one guy says, all right, I'll look into it. And he does a little investigating, but he doesn't do much. So, and then we have a few social engagements where Amanda shows up, and she's just so mad. She's always mad at Sebastian. Always mad at him. So, Sebastian is in Paris. Hero is in Paris. Her Claire, the boy's nurse that she had rescued, and Patrick and Simon, the two boys, Calhoun, his valet or jack of all trades, Tom, the tiger he adopted off the street, Hendon, his father name only, Jarvis, Hero's father, and who else? There's a couple other people in town. Oh, and Amanda, the sister, Sebastian's non-biological sister, here. So, anyways. So, she, Sebastian remembers, it was a drift of thought that brought him back inevitably to his mother. She had lived in the city on and off for over 10 years. The estranged wife of an English earl turned mistress to one of Napoleon's most trusted generals. Why? It was one of the many questions he wanted to ask her. Why? And that's another big issue in this book with Paris, is the return of Napoleon. And people are like, you need to get out of town. You need to leave. Napoleon is headed back. He left Elba, and he's amassing troops on the way. He's planning on taking over Paris again. He wants to rule Paris. So then he finds his mother's body, and then he has Dr. Peloton come to the house. She dies before the doctor gets there. She says Sebastian, his name, before she dies. She recognizes him. So the doctor says he is a renowned doctor with England in Paris. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find it. But anyway, Sebastian tells him he wants him to conduct the autopsy. And he's like, "You want me to do what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want you to tell me what happened." Sebastian, for some years now, she's called herself Dama Capello. Dammapello. But her real name was the Countess of Hendon. She was my mother. The circumstances surrounding her death are confused. I would like to ask you to examine the body, perhaps give us some idea as to the cause and circumstances of her death. She was found lying in the grass beneath Point Neuf in a way that suggests she might have fallen from above. There are significant head wounds, but I don't know if they are the result of the fall or if she perhaps struck before being thrown from the bridge. You're asking me to perform a autopsy here now? Not an autopsy precisely, not along the lines of preliminary examination and analysis, if you would be so kind. There is no doubt she fell from a great height, he said, presumably, as you suggest, from the bridge near which she was found. Her right femur and right humerus are broken, along with several ribs and perhaps several vertebrae. I presume there is also considerable internal damage, although without a more invasive examination there's no way to ascertain. And the blows to her head, the injury to her right temple is, I believe, as a result of the fall. But that's not what caused her death. She was stabbed in the back. Okay? So Sebastian decides that he's going to investigate. He talks to her housekeeper. He talks to her Abigail. He talks to her coachman. And it turns out, and he talks to all these different people. It turns out that she had a clandestine traveling in the past couple of months, and she had returned home, but she returned home in a roundabout route. She didn't go directly home. She made a couple of secret stops, and some people were aware of those stops. And what was she trying to look for during those stops? And apparently she was looking for what are you doing, Smokey? My cat is making a nuisance of herself. Ma'am, hey you. So apparently she had she was had a clandestine, maybe a distant, maybe a casual. We do not know for certain, but she may or may not have known Napoleon. She may or may not have been sympathetic to his cause, may or may not have wanted to assist him in his cause. And apparently there is this talisman, and I don't think I wrote it down, but apparently this talisman was given to Josephine, and Napoleon really wanted it. It was a good luck charm, the Charlemagne talisman. And once Napoleon gave it up, he started losing. So he wants his good luck charm back, and other people want the good luck charm back too, because it's worth a tremendous amount of money. It's like rubies and stuff like that. I don't think I wrote down the pages of what it was. But Sebastian, like I said, his mother had to have known that he was in town, because she writes him a letter. I did see you once some years ago. It was in Italy, and you were dressed as a paysan, but I was certain it was you. Then I learned from Hendon something of what you did in the army, and I knew I was right. He wrote to me once a year giving me news of you, Amanda and her children. It was part of the great bargain we made up. I left England, and so I know you have by now discovered so many painful truths that I did not lie that wretched long ago summer. That the other truth, the one that would be unwise to commit to paper. Do you judge me harshly for my actions in the past? I ache for the pain I know these discoveries must have caused you. I regret of what I did in the course of my long, miserable marriage, but not the one fateful winter. How could I, when the result was you? So she's acknowledging to Sebastian that Sebastian is not Hendon's child, but obviously she had an affair or relation or something while Hendon was out of town, and the result of that little liaison was Sebastian. I can hope somehow find it within you to forgive me for leaving you that long ago summer, and for the lies you have been told. I wish this not for my sake but for yours, for anger and resentment corrode the soul. I would have taken you with me if I could, but Hendon said no. You were legally his heir, and he was determined to claim you as such. After all, I am a saint seared through my grandmother, and you know how important that has always been to him. By English law, children belong to their legally recognized fathers. But even if that were not the case, how selfish it would have been of me to take you with me in my unknown future. Take you away from the wealth and titles that will someday be yours. I could not do it any more than I could say. And we made our bargain, Hendon and I. I would leave England never to return. It would be given out that I was dead, although, of course, neither of us would be truly free to remarry. Every year he would send the letter along with a stipend. There have been times of late when I considered telling him I am in no need of his financial support, but I feared that without the stipend he would no longer send the annual letter. If you know how much that letter has meant to me these past 20 years and more, perhaps you would understand. Plus, I will admit to taking a certain satisfaction in continuing to force him to pay. Although I acknowledge that is petty and unworthy of me, I have not changed entirely, it seems. He tells me you have married, that you are happy in your marriage, and that I have a grandson named Simon. Your happiness is all I could ask for, yours and Amanda's, although she always has troubled so. I've often regretted I did not make more of a push to prevent her match with Wilcox. Perhaps with a different husband she wouldn't have grown so bitter. And she was. She was very bitter. Amanda is very bitter. Stephanie is wavering on the bitterness too. But she's doing better with the new husband. So, we have to investigate whether Sebastian's mother was fighting for Napoleon. Was she passing messages? Was she acting as a courier? Who knows that she had the Charlemagne talisman of good luck? Who knows what she did with it? Who knows she had it? Who killed her? And as they're investigating and Sebastian is getting little pieces of information from all these people that he talks to, as he's talking to people, people are being killed to prevent them from giving Sebastian additional information. We also have Napoleon getting closer and closer to Paris. People are fleeing Paris, and people come after the boys, and someone tries to kidnap Patrick. and Hero stops him, and Hendon and Amanda and Jarvis, and they take the maid Claire, or the nanny Claire, and Patrick and Simon, and they return to London. The deal is that Simon is going to give it another few days of investigation because he's determined to discover what happened to his mother. You will have to, what she knew, what she didn't, what was her plans, what was she involved in. And who who is Sebastian's biological father? There may or may not be hints or insinuations in this book. It is never specifically revealed, but it is significantly hinted and insinuated. Hero and Sebastian have a talk about it. They speculate. The gentleman in question is still living. They found a portrait of him. I kept waiting for him to show up at Sebastian's villa. He does not. He is talked about quite often. His relationship with Napoleon, with Sebastian's mother's relationship was there, what she was hiding, what she wasn't hiding. Whole 9 yards. And when she dies, she leaves everything to Sebastian and nothing to Amanda. So, and there's a ball, and Amanda does her normal annual, what the F are you doing here? You're here for your investigation, right? That's why you're in this ball cramping my style. So we also learn that Stephanie, Amanda's daughter, Sebastian's niece, is with child in this book too. It's heavily talked about. So Sebastian gets severely hurt at the end of this book. So what's going to happen with him, we don't know. But we are going to rush over to read Who Cries for the Lost. We are getting very close to the end of this series. Not the end, but the end where we have to wait till next year for the next one. The binge read is coming to the end. And also join me tomorrow for Patricia Briggs. We are doing the Mercy Thompson series. Don't forget Star Trek recaps on Fridays. If Then, Friday afternoons, really important. Got carried over with Halloween, did cozy Halloweens and not so cozy Halloweens and Halloween mysteries. We did Thanksgiving cozies, Thanksgiving mysteries, Thanksgiving family gatherings. We are headed into Christmas with Christmas cozies, Christmas contemporary romances, Christmas paranormal. We're going to do it all. So please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. And some answers in here, some non-answers in here, some questions. But can you imagine how it was for Sebastian to finally get his mother, only to have her be dead when he finally gets to see her? It's just heart-wrenching. The disappointment. He questions everything. I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have come sooner. Blah, 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 blah. He has all these questions in his head. All these questions in his mind. The woulda, coulda, shouldas could eat you alive. So, if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let me see if I can... Come here. Oops. Oops. I got her. Come here. Come say hi. Hi, everybody. Have a good one.